Hey guys, and welcome back to Mega Man Battle Network 6. We're going to be getting the last two crosses for Mega Man today, and they are going to be sweet and or hype and or disturbing depending on your viewpoint.
Well, disturbing isn't really the word I'm going to use for one of the crosses, but that's just me. We'll get more into that when we do that one. But for now, we're going to get the cooler of the two, in my opinion.
Yes, we're going after Charge Man right now.
I'll tell more about his cross in a little bit, but basically, he's wearing a fucking train as armor, and that's kind of great when you think about it, so I'm all for it.
Man, they're getting a lot of use out of this aquarium.
That's true. I mean, like, we've been here for, like, a dungeon. Now we have to go here to get crosses. I believe here, in Falzer version, is also where you get, the Dust Cross for Dustman.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think, actually, you know what? I do not remember where you get, Aqua Cross exactly, so I am gonna look this up.
Okay. We're just gonna have a talk to Mr. Ferrier, kick things off.
Just gotta navigate this wiki, because it's been a while since I booted up the Mega Man wiki.
Once class has begun, you cannot quit. Education has no breaks.
So it's basically like, well, no, college doesn't work like that in real life. Because they'll let you quit, but they'll be more than happy to keep taking your money in the meantime, you know what I'm saying? Since this is Battle Network, you would think that this would be one of those online colleges you have to go to.
I can buy you all the finest courses online. Good shit, mate, good shit. Okay, this is a new one on me. We're gonna start this by jacking into the vending machine.
As you know, a common location for trains. Just look inside vending machines everywhere.
Look how big his sprite is.
I know, it's massive. I mean, he is a train, it makes sense.
Yeah, no, I don't want a piddly little toy train.
This is like one of those expensive, like, premium model trains you buy, and then you set up, and then you wonder why you were playing with it. Because, I mean, like, I've seen model trains, like, as a kid, and, you know, more recently when I get them donated in at work, and I can kind of get the appeal, but me, I kind of need stuff to do. That's why I don't, like, buy toys anymore, Transformers, because I have to, like, do stuff with them. And if they're just kind of sitting there posing or doing whatever, that's not really my bag. I would imagine model trains are much of the same thing.
Nah, I gotta say, I actually really like the minigame for Charge Man's little test here, and it's something that I wasn't actually expecting just in terms of presentation. I thought it was going to be a top-down thing, because we have to take these Mr. Progs here from like point A to point B, and we've got to do this 3 times while dodging rocks and metals and so on and so forth. But I never thought they'd actually make use of the battle screen, and you'll see what I mean in just a second.
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit clever myself. See, we're getting into a battle, sort of, except there's train tracks and we have to dodge obstacles, like you said.
So you gotta pick up the, I guess, the stranded passengers on the way. Don't mess up, because like in Spirit Tracks, they will get off.
So is this like Crazy Train, you know, like Crazy Taxi or something like that? You need to edit this part where you put like Crazy Taxi music over it?
No, dude, I don't want fucking copyright strikes, okay? I could put some chiptune, maybe.
Do they have chiptune versions of the Crazy Taxi themes? Because it's gotta be like beep, beep, beep,
Beep,
beep,
beep. No, just like, I want a train version of It's All I Want. You know, just like choo, 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 choo.
I would like to hear something like that. Yeah, they'll probably have something like that on SoundCloud, you know, soon enough.
But yeah, I just really like this minigame. I can see what you mean about the arms, by the way, but I guess if he didn't have those, he would literally be just a train instead of a Navi who looks like a train.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they have to add arms to make it look like he can do shit. The funniest thing, I think, is when you give him, like, a sword battle chip to use, and he just slashes with his dinky little arms. It's great. Man, it's a good thing when they had railroad tracks, they put a bunch of fucking rocks in the way.
It's fine, the virus rocks.
Oh, alright. That explains nothing, but sure.
And there we go.
There, we've taken you 20 feet. Now here's your fee.
Take the bus next time. Jeez.
Okay, so I looked up Aquaman a little bit, and basically, in Falzer, Shuko, his net op, you know, replaces Match as a teacher and lands school.
Yeah, we've discussed this before.
Okay, I was just double checking to make sure, and he has to go to Seaside and do stupid stuff. Okay.
I still love that mix-up with Dust, man. That was great.
Well, you know me, I mix up shit like all the time when it comes to this and probably any game.
No, it was me, you egotistical bastard. I was looking at the original
See,
version.
I mixed up who made the mistake, too! I was basically correct now.
Oh, full of yokes, this part. Okay, it's time for a little bit of a battle. Get to show off Charge Man. Over it, I don't think I show off his unique move, but, when you actually use your Charge Buster, you charge, and that's enough for me.
Finally, we get to see who wins in a fight, trains or planes. You ever see, like, those commercials on, like, Cartoon Network, like, early on in the day? Where it's like, you know, here they are rolling down the track. It's like trains and planes and all those terrible videos that just, like, advertise those kind of things?
Not particularly, no.
Ah, well, I guess it's just a US exclusive thing. To be fair, the production values are cheap enough to be a US exclusive thing.
I love those Cartoon Network, they were like animated commercials. Well, half animated, half live action. I think, anyway, I may be remembering wrong. That implied all the Cartoon Network characters live in a shared universe.
Yeah, I remember those. Like, they all had that one common city. And I guess the city was more like a stylized CGI. Like, I remember that one where Professor Utonium is coming out of the store and he can't get in his car, and then Dexter just gives him shit over it. I'm like, you little fucking punk.
Or when, you know, Samurai Jack and Johnny Bravo are in the laundromat together.
I remember that one. I also remember, like, when, Fred from Scooby-Doo, he wants to race fucking Megas XLR. Like, that was the best one, in my opinion.
Nice. Good show, Megas XLR. I didn't watch it all the way through, though.
I laughed so hard at that one episode of Megas XLR where he has to go to the DMV. Oh my god, that was the funniest fucking thing. I was rolling in actual laughter when he just started stomping the shit out of the DMV. It was hilarious.
Wasn't that like the first episode?
No, it wasn't the first episode. I think it was the first episode of, like, the second season. The first episode is when Coop actually finds the robot, and then he puts his fucking car on it, because he's an idiot.
Okay.
That was a good show. They're bringing back Samurai Jack, bring back Megas XLR, and slap that on Adult Swim. That'd be awesome.
I just miss Toonami in general, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, I didn't really experience the old Toonami, because I grew up during that time when we didn't have cable for that kind of thing, and things like that, so I didn't really experience it. That's kind of why, like, I have no nostalgia over Dragon Ball Z, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Although Ronin Warriors is still the fucking shit, even though it's not really that great when you look at it close enough.
It's all about motherfucking cubics!
Cubics, really? Did they put that on Toonami at one point?
It was definitely on, in the UK, yeah.
It must have been one of the later Toonamis where it's like this. They started putting dumb shit on there. Like, you remember, like, when Toonami was dying, and they did that one where Tom was like a No, not you, Tom, the other Tom. When, the robot Tom, let me clarify, was like, he's like some bug-eyed motherfucker, and he was with those other robots on, like, the forest planet, and things like that. Everybody's like, what the hell is this? When did this happen?
Did he resemble, like, Charge Man, classic Charge Man?
He had the eyes, like, you know, like they do in Mega Man Classic, you know, with the big cartoon eyes and things like that. But there was, like, no story to explain it. Supposedly there were stories that explain why they changed bodies. But he just shows up out of the blue one day. I'm somebody who caught on to Toonami late. And even I was like, what the fuck is this supposed to be?
Now, by charging up in this minigame, you can, well, literally charge forward. I use it to dodge the metals, I don't know if you have to, but in terms of, like, crashing through rocks, there are a couple of instances right at the end, right here, where you actually have to use it, if you don't want to, like, lose anybody.
Yeah, now, the first time doing that, though, considering you don't know what's going to happen, that's admittedly a little bit cheap, because you don't get any kind of indication that a bunch of rocks are coming up like that. Do they even tell you if you can charge up in, like, his instruction manual or whatever?
I'm pretty sure they do. It's just best to stay charged at all times.
See, we're at, like, the place where he got, like, the super holy water, like Heat Man did.
Yes, the Hill Watcher. It's time for a real rogue battle.
Alright, you're done. I've been watching you operate Charge Man, I'm not impressed. You're not nearly killing enough things with him. See, I like how he's standing next to garbage cans and frowning. No, I'm not picking that up. That's not my job. I don't work here.
I just drive a cyber train, don't look at me.
You know what I also realized about Chargeman?
Uh-huh.
His cowcatcher is shaped like a beard on his head.
Ha! Nice. Oh yeah, here we go. This fight can either be easy or slightly easy, I guess. Basically, if you take out like the middle row of like panels, I don't think he can do most of his moves at you, which is insane.
Yeah, because basically the thing is with this fight, he basically keeps rolling down, you know, the various rows, and he's bringing like his stuff with you, and he's also attacking during that time. But yeah, you know, if you crack the panels, I don't think he'll be able to actually pass over those because he doesn't have air shoes for that kind of thing. Because as you know, trains don't usually fucking fly.
And he is like a heat-based navi or a flame or a fire one, so exploit that whenever you can.
His element is fire, which is weird because we already have a fire-themed cross, which doesn't really make any sense. I don't know why they decided to go for 2 fire ones here, but whatever.
What's the elements used in Battle Network 6? I know there's fire, aqua, elect, wood, and whatever the 5th one is.
There's sword, break, wind, cursor, and I think there's one more. Let me double check and make absolutely sure, because I think there's like 10 elements total. Let me just look it up here.
Perfect!
There you go, nicely done.
Whoa, 36-36, I'm proud of that.
At least it's not 64-64, because then you'd never shut up about that.
No, I would not.
Come on, I need to get his element. Where is it? Let me just go to Battle Network in general.
In the meantime, the only thing that matters, Chargeman is now our Link Navi, and there's only one more Link Navi to go.
Now, he'll explain the crosses in a bit in like an email, but just to clarify what Charge Cross does. Its fire element, its weakness is naturally aqua. Non-dimming fire chips can be actually gradually charged for up to plus 100 in attack, which is different from Heat Man, I'll give him that. The best thing about Charge Cross, though, is that you actually get 1 extra battle chip per turn that you're using the cross. So if you rely a lot on combos, you could just easily like load up to like 10 chips at one time and just wreck the shit out of guys. Now, the charge shot is Charge Tackle. Mega Man turns invincible and charges down the 3 panels ahead of him, hitting the closest enemy for 20 times Buster Rank plus a lot of damage, okay? Fire and breaking damage. This charge shot can be used to avoid attacks because it makes him invincible, which is pretty good.
Well, that explains a lot, actually.
Alright, let me get back to actually looking up these elements, because I swear to God I'll find it.
Well, I asked about the one specific to Battle Network 6, not the series as a whole.
Well, the ones in Battle Network 6 are the ones in Battle Network as a whole.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, there's a null element, which is basically normal. But... Blackwood. Recovery is an element. Alright. Plus is an element. Alright.
Okay, we're just gonna go back to the score right now. All these elements are confusing me.
Yeah, they kind of went, they went a bit ballsy with the elements. I'm done with that. Stop being so afraid of the bus, man.
The bus is an element.
They should make a bus man, and then he fights Charge Man. No, wait, they had a bus man in The Simpsons, didn't they?
Did they?
Yeah, don't you remember that episode where they go to the comic book convention, and Otto is there selling his bus man comics?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and Bart tries to get a discount by being Bart Man, and that doesn't work out. Oh, this guy. Let me look him up real fast, because I really don't remember a lot about the guy. But with a name like that, are you surprised?
Isn't he an apprentice to a character from a previous Battle Network game?
Yes, he is actually an apprentice to a guy called, let me get the name correct, Dark Miyabi, who also goes by the name Dusk, because of course he does, who operates Shadow Man of all net navies.
Yeah, we showed that earlier in the playthrough during Judge Man's dungeon, I believe.
He is an assassin, and Dark Miyabi actually helps out in Battle Network 5, joining Team Colonel, and he can actually be used as another, you know, cross-soul navi.
Nice.
And things like that. Now, this guy, as we said, is an apprentice of him. His net navi is somebody called, in this version, he's called Erase Man. But in Japan, the navi is known as Killer Man.
That's awesome.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Killer Man is such a stupid fucking idea when you think about it. Hey, it's that traditional kind of stupid, edgy bullshit they pull with these kind of characters. He looks dumb, he has a dumb name, and his mission is edgy as fuck. I'm not sure what they were thinking about with this guy, I'll be honest with you.
I don't know. I think he's so edgy, it kind of wraps around and I start to appreciate it a little bit.
No, an edgy guy that wraps around to a point where you can appreciate it is like Reaper from Overwatch. You could tell they were having fun when they designed Reaper, and just made him so edgy that it's funny. Here they play it so straight that it's not really that good, in my opinion.
I suppose, and you know, purple is a pretty harsh colour when you cross it with like red and whatnot, so I don't know.
Okay, so explain to me in more appropriate terms what exactly we're doing with this particular mission.
With Eraseman, we shall be deleting punk navies that are dotted about the undernet. If you get spotted by a punk navi, you will have to redo a bit, I guess, and that's roughly about it.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, even the mission sounds kind of boring when you think about it.
It's a bit repetitive. Is he meant to be an Oni, like based on an Oni, Eraseman?
Yeah, I can definitely see the Oni inspiration here because of the horns and things like that. You know what, let's bring up his article and see if we get anything else in terms of Eraseman or Killer Man or whatever you want to call him, man. When you look really close at his design, like half of him is made up of like gray fire, which normally I would appreciate, but here it doesn't really work for me.
Well, I'm seeing like the different variations of the scythe design, honestly. Like even his feet are scythe-like.
Eraseman has great enthusiasm for his job with deleting navies, viruses, and anything else he can swing his hell's sickle at. With an endless thirst for battling new adversities, Eraseman gains extra satisfaction when he is able to battle an equally strong opponent as opposed to weaker enemies that hold no challenge. That was his bio,
wow,
by the way.
You really don't like this guy, do you?
It's just... maybe I'm exaggerating a bit, I guess, and I admit that. But he's also kind of lame. Like, we just had a dude who's a fucking train man, and that's great. And here's just some fucking generic dark killer man kind of guy design. I don't know. I just don't really like him personally, but that's just me.
Okay, besides friggin' Reaper from Overwatch, what have been some good edgy characters in video games that you enjoyed?
I'm trying to think, because I don't play a lot of video games now. I'm trying to think of other designs that are so edgy that it's funny. But I cannot think of anything else off at the top of my head. I know they've existed, because obviously they've done parodies of this kind of stuff.
Shadow the Hedgehog, bruh.
I don't know about Shadow. I think they were also kind of trying to play him straight. Also, what are you doing with your reticle? That's not how you look for people.
Yes, it is. This is how punk navies work. He says that every time. I arc!
Ugh.
Come on, there's gotta be one, like, positive thing you can think of for Eraseman here.
What's one positive thing I can think of for Eraseman? I was gonna say I did kind of like the Scythe stuff, but then I realized I made a Scythe man at one point, who was probably way better than this guy.
You could basically repurpose Cypher from Pokemon into a sick Scythe man.
I suppose you could. No, I think my Scythe Man EXE was actually like a praying mantis motherfucker, if I recall correctly. Which would have been better than this. I mean, I know I'm kind of flagellating myself here, but still. Okay, I've complained enough about Eraseman or Killer Man. Did you like doing this? That's my question.
The minigame's kind of repetitive, honestly. I had a lot more fun with Charge Man's thing. The design's a bit garish for me, personally. At the time we are recording this, I haven't used Erase Cross yet. So I guess we'll see what happens.
I'm reading it here about Eraseman's mission. You don't even need to stealth these guys. Because if you get caught, you just fight them normally. So you're just avoiding battles at this rate. I don't know.
Well, I don't know what you're reading, because that sure as shit didn't happen to me when I got spotted.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you just get sent back a little bit.
Huh. I guess it depends on which particular one you run into sometimes.
Ark.
Oh.
Well, thankfully we only have to do this 2 times. You don't have blood. Seek help!
because, you know, NetNavis are programmed, like, I have to imagine what they were thinking when they sat down and they programmed this guy. Because I would imagine if you're making a NetNavi, you have to be in a particular mood. Because NetNavis of these particular designs don't just happen. Like, they have to be planned out ahead of time when you're making one. Like, when you make Charge Man, you have to go, I really like trains. I'm gonna make a train Navi. Okay. I like scythes and listening to My Chemical Romance. I'm gonna make an Oni motherfucker with a scythe. You know?
He's just kind of like the weakest out of the, you know, the Link Navis that we get. It is kind of hard to beat Heatman for me, honestly.
I mean, even I like Heatman more than that. And, you know, I've admitted in the past, like, he's not my favorite design, but still, he's just not this terrible. Let me look. You know, have we talked at length about the crosses you get, in Falza version?
I don't think we have, no, not specifically.
Okay, just to, you know, cover some time, I'll talk about them now, very brief. Aquaman, obviously, you get the Aqua Cross. You get, access to Tomahawk Cross, based off of Tomahawk Man, who you actually meet in, Mega Man Battle Network 5. His design's actually pretty good, I gotta say. You get fucking Tengu Man, which looks amazing, as I've said before. You also get Ground Man. Ooh, Ground Man is actually really awesome. Ground Man EXE. He's another guy who doesn't have feet, but he's like a big, beefy motherfucker with like tank treads for legs. Oh, he looks really cool, actually. Like, you would like him.
I'm looking him up.
And you also get Dust Man.
Of course. Now, Ground Man was originally in Mega Man and Base, wasn't he?
Yeah, he actually had legs in that one, and he sort of transformed into a drill tank. I actually like the classic Ground Man design. Like, I think it looks pretty good, but I like Transformers, so that's just me.
Yeah, here he is. Yeah, he looks pretty cool. Let's see the EXE one. Whoa, that's pretty dope.
Oh yeah, I told you, man. I kind of wish Gregar got Ground Man, but then again, we would have two Navis without, like, legs, so I guess we had to balance it out a little bit.
You get a little, like, window of time, like, when you get spotted. You don't immediately be all like, oh, bloop. You know, that was my best attempt at doing a Metal Gear Solid sound effect there. So, you know, it's not as harsh as it could have been.
I thought you were doing, like, a Super Mario pipe warp with that sound effect. That's kind of what it sounded like to me.
Thank you, thank you.
I wonder how he takes his coffee, now that I think about it. Because we have had, you know, in the past, we've seen, like, Nevis get, like, cyber coffee. Like, what does the edgy motherfucker get in his coffee? I bet there's a lot of marshmallows in there, by the way.
Before I answer that, apparently, I forget which town it was in. But anyway, one of the towns, if you keep drinking the coffee at the coffee stand, you know, obviously as Mega Man, you get something. So, try that on for size.
Does he have to pee afterwards? I don't know. I mean, we're still kind of questioning the, how much things are affected in, like, the digital world when it comes to stuff like fire and water. I guess coffee would have some kind of effect. Do they have, like, cyber caffeine, cyberine, or whatever?
To answer your question, dark roast.
Okay, there you go. Wow, he is so cool. Why does he need our help again? Clearly he's doing a fine enough job.
God, you're salty in this part.
Don't worry, it won't last that long.
Well, at least now we get to beat the guy up.
Oh, that's good. That makes me feel better. One thing I will mention as an interesting positive of Raceman's design, you notice that big old eye he's got in the middle of his chest?
Uh-huh.
That actually relates to kind of, you know, you remember the killer eye viruses you fought before in this game?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those are a callback to that. Like, you'll see NetNavi sometimes with, like, design cues from viruses. Like, I actually made some Navis like that myself. Like, I made a NetNavi based off a Battle Network 1 enemy, for example, like an electric-themed one. And I'll go more into detail on that when I feel like boring you in the future.
Okay. Alright, it's time to kill the killer.
Yeah, don't say execute. He's just looking forward to that.
Oh, it's time for the charge cross.
Here, let me show you what a cool fucking NetNavi is. Oh, that's great. You can't help but love that.
He's sending haunters at us. How adorable.
Okay, so how does his fight work out?
His scythe has a pretty long range, so you're going to want to stay out of that. He'll be sending ghosts down at you for some reason. I don't know how that ties into his theme.
Because he's fucking edgy, that's why.
Okay, he also has a thing where he will send out like a killer eye sort of tracking thing, and if that hits you, he will drain like roughly about like there, for example. He will try to drain 100 HP out of you. For some reason, I was able to avoid that. I don't know how, but this fight is more challenging than Charge Man's. That's about all I have to say.
Yeah, well, at the very least, he can give a good challenge. Like, I can appreciate that about Killer Man, if you will.
And we're done here.
Done and dusted.
And that's all the link now is. We have all the crosses now.
Notice how his chip code is K for Killer Man.
Ugh. Ugh! The edge! How?
Now, just to explain a race cross, Killer Cross, really fast. I think Killer Cross sounds way better, by the way.
It's a killer cross?
No, do not do that to Queen. I don't like that, and I don't approve.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Killer Cross is the cursor element. I don't know. The weakness is Wind. Cursor chips gain 30 attack. Hitting viruses with 4 in their HP with non-dimming element-less chips, I'm going to assume no, will instantly delete them regardless of power. Doing the same with Navis gives an HP bug. Now, of course, in Japan, the number 4 being construed as a symbol of death. His charge shot is called the Killer Death Beam, which kind of sounds like Space Ripper Stingy Eyes. Adds the entire row in front of Mega Man for a lot of damage, cursor damage. It pierces invisible chips, which can be good when you're fighting against another player who's using that. It consecutively hits enemies, and it probably has the fastest buster out of all of the crosses. So there are some benefits to using it.
Yeah, when I was playing as the guy himself, I noticed that his charge did charge pretty quickly. Black and white. Perfect for the angst within my soul.
I'm pretty sure I found this picture inside of a haunted mansion once.
Oh god, I love how they describe the cross at the end. King of Destruction. Use it wisely. ... I loved how hyped Mr. Farry got. Like, choo choo, all aboard the hype train, motherfucker.
Yeah, at least he was pleasant to be around, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, next time, it's nostalgia time, I guess. Well, at least for Helldragon anyway. I'm the guy who started on the final game of the series. But we're going back to AC/DC Town, and it's going to be fun times and shenanigans all around. See you then.